Hi, this is Lija here. Today we are dealing with cephalochordates. Subphylum Cephalochordata consists of small marine superficially fish-like protochordates. They are of special significance because they possess the three primary chordate characters like presence of notochord, dorsal tubular nerve cord and pharyngeal gill slits in simple condition throughout life. Thus they are considered as a blueprint of phylum Chordata. The name of the subphylum Cephalochordata is derived from the fact that notochord extends forward inside the rostrum even beyond the so-called brain. This feature is encountered nowhere else in chordata. As they lack a skull, the cephalochordates are also called ecraniates. The subphylum Cephalochordata includes a single class called Leptochordae and it comprises of two families, namely Branchiostomidae and Esynchronidae. The former consists of only one genus, Branchiostoma, while the latter possesses two, that are Esynchron and Epigonethys. A total of about 35 species have been identified so far. And the most extensively studied cephalochordate is Branchiostoma, commonly called as lancet. Branchiostoma is also called Amphioxus, although the name Amphioxus is commonly used. According to the law of nomenclature, Branchiostoma is the correct scientific name of this genera. And this is the systematic position of Branchiostoma. The morphological and genomic simplicity of Branchiostoma, together with its key phylogenetic position, make it an invaluable animal model to study the evolutionary transition from invertebrates to chordates and then to vertebrates. Coming to the habits and habitats, Amphioxus leads a double mode of life. Mostly, it buried in sand in upright condition, keeping the anterior part of the body protruding out to draw water current. However, in the evening or night, it comes out of the sand and swims about actively by lateral undulations of the body. It is a typical ciliary feeder and feeds on planktonic microscopic organisms brought along with water current which constantly enters the mouth. When disturbed, Amphioxus leaves its burrow, swims quickly for a short distance and then rapidly burrows again with its posterior end in the substrate. Amphioxus is a small, almost transparent, superficially fish-like animal. Its body is about 5 to 8 cm long, slender, laterally compressed and sharply pointed at both ends, and hence the name lancet. The anterior end being stiffened by notochord, it acts as a drill during burrowing. Anteriorly, below the rostrum is a tentaculated structure called the oral hood, formed by dorsal and lateral projections of the body. It shall be discussed later in the part of digestive system. Next, considering the fins and folds, paired fins are absent in Branchiostoma. Extending along the whole length of middorsal border is a longitudinal membranous fold known as dorsal fin. It turns round the posterior end of the body as the caudal fin and then runs forward along the mid-dorsal line as the ventral fin up to the anterior two-third part of the body. The dorsal and ventral fins are internally supported respectively by 1 and 2 rows of small rectangular fin-ray boxes, each formed by stiff connective tissue. The anterior two-third portion of the body is a flat and ridged area called epipleure, which forms the floor of the atrial cavity. The lateral edges of the epipleure have hollow projecting ridges called metapleural folds or atrial folds. These possibly help in the burrowing in sand rapidly. Posteriorly, the two metapleural folds meet together in the mid-ventral line. As its body suggests, the animal is able to swim effectively. The propulsive force for this is provided by the patterned contractions of the body musculature, which is segmented into a series of some 60 V-shaped muscle bands called myotomes or myomeres. It can be seen through the transparent body wall. The myotomes of the right side alternate with that of the left, and myomeres are separated from one another by partitions of connective tissue called myocomas or myosepta. The myotomes help in lateral undulations of the body. Generally, cephalochorids are gonochoric and have great reproductive capacity. The females develop yellow gonads whereas males have pale white gonads. Branchiostoma has a true endothelial coelom. In the larva, coelom is a spacious cavity, but in the adult, it gets very much reduced, especially in the pharyngeal region due to the development of atrium. In the intestinal region, behind the pharynx, coelom is a spacious perivisceral cavity in which the alimentary canal is suspended by dorsal mesentery. Next, we will discuss about atrium. The atrium is an ectoderm lined cavity surrounding the pharynx, esophagus and intestine ventrally and laterally. It is closed in front and open behind by atriopore. It is formed by a pair of metapleural folds, one on either side of the gill slits of embryo, growing downwards and united ventrally by a transverse fold, thus enclosing an outside space lined by ectoderm within the body. Thus, in branchiostoma, the gill slits open into the atrium and not directly to the outside. In turn, the atrium opens to outside by a small rounded midventral aperture called atriopore, lying just behind the ventral fin. Posteriorly, the atrium further extends behind the atriopore as a blind pouch on the right side of intestine up to anus. Anteriorly, the atrium projects into each dorsocoelomic canal on either side of the pharynx, forming the brown funnel or atriocoelomic canal. Coming to the functions of atrium, it serves to enclose and protect the pharyngeal region, which is very delicate owing to the development of gill slits. It can be easily damaged with the sand if it is not protected. It also indirectly helps in the food concentrating mechanisms. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please share and subscribe.